Welcome to the Wokest Warren, where we have the Wokest Discourse. Tonight I am going to talk about my childhood, how happy it was, how unbelievably happy it seems now in the dark days that we're living in. I want to talk to younger people maybe about how it felt to not worry about shit when we were growing up. So what made me think about this was I was thinking about a Jane's Addiction song. Jane's Addiction is really powerful to me for some reason, and I know that sounds lame, but they really are. The expression of their music, the sound was so vibrant, and it just carried me away. And I just was listening to them tonight, and I remembered what it was like the first time I listened to them. I mean, I'm smiling because how can you not smile? That was my generation, you know. When was the first time you listened to Jane's Addiction? But then it also made me start to think about Led Zeppelin. And when I was in like 9th grade, I think, my cousin got a Led Zeppelin box set. It was Led Zeppelin put out a CD of every single thing they had ever recorded. That was a fad at the time that record companies were doing. And so my cousin got it for Christmas, and he knew I liked Led Zeppelin, so he was like, hey, I'll bring it over and we can record it. We can make a dub of it for you. We can listen to this box set together and make a dub. And I was like, awesome. So me and my cousin sat and listened to Led Zeppelin's entire discography. And I think about kids growing up in Gaza, and I'm just like, they're never going to have that experience. Like, every kid has a right to have the experience of listening to Pink Floyd. Just listening to it. How can you listen to music when you're fighting for survival? I guess you do. I guess you do listen to music when you're fighting for survival every chance you get. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, I grew up in McDonald, Ohio. My parents were part of what Engels would have called the labor aristocracy. I'm like the last child in America. Well, my younger sister, maybe. We're the last children in America to grow up not worrying about a thing. Like, our parents had good union jobs. There was nothing that we needed that we didn't have. We had healthcare, no problem. We had a house, no problem. We had cars, you know, we had vacations. Life was really, really good. Like, I never worried about something like, oh, wow, what if I get a toothache? I can't afford to go to the dentist. That wasn't part of the life that I lived growing up. We never worried about going to the dentist. We never worried about anything. Life was easy for us as kids. Now, it wasn't easy for our parents that were working 40 hours a week in unair-conditioned factories where the temperature was over 100 degrees and they're standing on a concrete floor all night. Like, that wasn't easy for my mom to do that. But my mom, she fulfilled one of her major goals of her life, was that she said, I don't want my children to grow up poor like I did. Now, obviously, she was lucky enough to be born at a certain time in a certain place, a certain color. But she succeeded in that goal. My mom used to say to me, like, every single day when I would come home from school, my mom would be making dinner, getting ready to go to work, and she would be like, I want you to never work in a factory. I want you to never have to work in a factory. I want you to be able to have a job where you can do your nails and wear jewelry. And those are her exact words. And she would tell me this every single day, you know? So it's kind of like kids talk about like getting pushed to be a doctor from the time they were a child, or an engineer or something like that, like having parents push you into the professions. My mom didn't so much push me into the professions. My mom tried to push me out of the working class with a lot of good luck and a badass attitude, I guess. Anyway, there was no way I could pay for my kids to go to college. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. I feel bad because I think that my older daughter would like the opportunity to go to college. I think she would benefit from it. But she said long ago, you know, it's not worth taking out student loans for. And I said, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It just breaks my heart that, you know, it's not even like my kids aren't going to do better than me. It's that my kids are going to not have that joy in their life that I experienced because of the fact that my parents had good union jobs. I got to sit, when I was 14 years old, I got to sit one weekend, the entire weekend, just listening to the entire Led Zeppelin discography. And that is fucking beautiful. What kid nowadays has that type of freedom? They'd be working. They'd be working or babysitting their younger siblings so their parents could work. Like, kids don't live like that anymore. And so I thought it would be important to describe how good we had it when I was growing up for future generations to listen to, so that they can have an idea of what it's like when society starts to go a little bit towards working. Like, when society is better, childhood is better. I'm going to follow this up with another volume, but I'm going to end chapter 1 right here. Thanks for listening.